If this is your host Steve from the back, coming at you again, raw and unscripted as always. And I think this is going to be a real short rant, but what I wanted to rant on basically is how, you know, me being a Satanist, number one, because I mean, lately half of these rants have been technically satanic rants. So I just figured I'll just make another one, but it'll be a different point. The point I'm trying to make is, we all have people we know who are Christians. Some of us have been Christians before, like myself, uh, was a Christian at a certain point in time. And not only being a Christian, but also a lot of us just have certain personality traits that are just inherent that I would dare say are diametrically opposed to Christianity. But not only just that, also also seemingly, it always seems that some of us, like myself personally, like right now this moment, is one of those people to where a lot of my personality traits inherently are not only just diametrically opposed to Christianity, but they're also diametrically opposed to mainstream media and the mainstream general understanding of what people consider how do I say this, more marketable, like like more toned down, more mainstream, more acceptable, you know and I just think that's kind of funny because it's always that way. Pretty much all my life it's been that way, to where whether I was honestly being my authentic self, just like being myself or not, is what I'm saying. Is like, let's say I know I'm supposed to be behaving a certain way, so I know I'm going to get in trouble if I say what I'm thinking, or I'm going to get in trouble if I do what I want to do instead of doing what I had been told to do. And in fear, fear was instilled in me, just like when you're a child, you get disciplined by your parents instill fear in you. So for instance, like if they tell you you're supposed to go to church and instead you'd rather stay home and do something else, you're going to go to church. That's kind of like the start of this thing, which is to some degree. I got a playthrough playing in the background. I'm gonna have to pause it. Stupid internet. So like I was saying before, I had to interrupt myself. Um, my point is, I was always that satanic, I would say, mischievous, ill-natured, ornery person ever since I was a child. Always the one that was like going to do something violent, had a temper, would do something. What's the word? Spiteful. Um, would take things overboard all the time. Like instead of doing something or having normal, even thought patterns, it's just always borderline psychotic, wild, impulsive, violent type of tendencies. So this is my whole thing with that. My whole point I'm trying to make is it's just weird that some of us always fall into that category. It's never that weird like oh, everybody likes me. Um, what I'm saying is not pushing against the grain. No, with me it's like the movie Django. You say something and then everybody has to look at you funny. You're the elephant in the room now. You're the person that does not agree with all of the crap that everyone else is saying. You're the one person that does not agree and thinks that everyone else is stupid, everyone else is crazy, and everybody else is delusional to believe what the mainstream is pushing, and that's me. That's always been me. Um, so I just say this like because sometimes I hear Christians say things on videos all the time, and I hear like biblical references on things all the time. I laugh because I'm thinking like, man, some of the stuff that you when you hear in the Bible, um in terms of what's even considered sin in the Christian Bible, is nothing more. It's always just nothing more than someone's natural progression of development in life. That's all it ever is. It's never like something like that's really that unnatural. But the flip is that they're trying to say that what's natural is inherently evil, which that really doesn't. Which what you're doing is you're telling a half truth, because if something's evil, it's subjectively evil. It's not really evil. It's that depending on the person that's getting the bad end of the deal, anything can be considered evil or bad. So that's always another thing that's blown out of proportion with any Christian sort of a dogma or whatever. You know, so that's a part of this whole thing, and it's just really it's hilarious. I actually, you know, it was the reason why I ranted on this was because I was trying to think what it was. It was, I think it was something I was watching on Voodoo, and they were talking about how like one of the voodoo gods is like a serpent god, but then they made some reference to the Bible, you know, and God is supposed to be telling the serpent, which is supposed to be like symbolic of the devil or something. You know, telling the serpent that the serpent is going to crawl on its belly and eat dust the rest of its life for tempting Adam and Eve or whatever. I'm thinking like, so the funny thing about it is, now first off, if you're even going to take any of this crap seriously, how would it be a bad thing that a thing walks on its belly or crawls on its belly the rest of its life? Like, where you okay? You know what I mean? It's like it's that that's my that's the it's like the funny thing about the Christian Bible is I always realize this. When you listen, you realize first off they were talking to very illiterate, very malleable mind, very small brain thinking, very submissive, very strange type of people in that day that were eating this stuff up. First off, so you really realize that like as soon as you start reading, like think like who in the like who would actually really give two thoughts about that? Like, oh, Kron, you're like, oh, okay. You know, it's like, oh, so you're sort of saying, so what you're saying basically is that some way or another the locomotion of the snake was different before, now it's different, and now it's on the ground. Oh, okay. Wow. Wow. It's like wow, bro. If that's some type of punishment, then what's wrong? What's wrong with you? What are you talking about? You know, so it doesn't even make any sense from that standpoint. Like, how is that a curse or it's a curse or a punishment? So it doesn't even make any sense anyway. You know, and I'm not even going to go like into more of those scriptures or actually reading them right now. Maybe in another rant I'll actually pull up a Bible scripture online or something, uh, so I can explain how stupid some of this stuff really is. But my point is, what I'm really just trying to hit home before I close is just like just it's funny because you get all these people who are like conservative, right? Then you get these left leaning people who are complete morons. And then you really look at it and you really think like, well, half of those people that are quote conservative, that are Christian, are almost darn near as stupid as people on the left. Though Christian ones, at least, well, when I say Christian, I mean the ones that at least really believe the Bible, like certain things. I'm thinking like, so you don't click it because at the end of the day, all it is emotion that's driving some of these beliefs. That's all it always is. It's just emotion, but it's really stupid, misplaced, childlike emotion. That's what I mean. It's like it's not rational. It's so irrational. It's really not rational because this is not reality. This is like people reaching for realities to make themselves feel better. That's what they're doing. It's like they're reaching for trying to basically create a point, and there's real no point to be created because you know that well, you should know. That's the thing. You have to be dumb to really believe this. So I'm just saying this because what I'm really trying to say in a nutshell is there's a reason why I am a Satanist. And I have to say, a lot of these beliefs, just like a lot of these trends that are going on, I call them trends because I don't care what people try to say. Their politics, their rights, it's these people's rights, those people's rights, and then you got the conservatives saying, like they have a lot of. I'll dare say this. I'll say most conservatives have more sense than the people on the left by a long shot, but it's still so flawed. And a lot of it has to do, I'll just have to say, it has to do a lot of it with Christianity. Because it's one thing to like be smart enough to understand, okay, yeah, a traditional, like for instance, a traditional parent household would most likely yield the best results in forming child. You know what I mean? Like a growing, forming child psyche and all of that. You know, there's a reason why certain things work, and they've always worked for centuries. There's just a clear reason behind it. It's not there's nothing mystical behind any of this. But then those be the same people that can't understand that, like, you know, the stuff you're talking about capitalism, the stuff you're talking about the household with the right parent setup, instilling very I hate to say it because it's a cliche. People always use gender norms. There is a psychological reason why 98% of the time that is just how it works, and that's how it should work. You know, um, and you shouldn't be trying to confuse people to turn them into things, which is actually people are doing nowadays. It's like now people they don't really want equality. They don't want this and that. What they really want is they want to try to convince, sway, and turn people into things. And young children, they want to literally try to turn someone into something before this, like so it's twisted and it's sick. But my point I'm trying to make is still as much logic as some of these people have that are so-called conservative, um, they're still the nonsense. You know what I mean? So, like I said again, I've said this before. I'm not perfect, but I feel like I think I know what's really going on. That's what point I'm trying to make is I'm not jaded by either. So I'm not believing the nonsense over there on the left, and I'm not believing the nonsense, the Christian nonsense on it, because I know what this really is. And this is, like I said again, this is somewhere in between. This is not either or, but and I mean I'm gonna elaborate on that too a little bit. It's not like it's not really black and white. What I'm trying to say is this. I'm trying to say that on the left, basically what they're doing is they're so emotional and so delusional and so reaching for what they would consider hope, but they're going about it in the completely wrong way instead of realizing what they think they want is already here. These people already have rights. You know what I mean? No one is like literally stoning these people and literally assaulting and literally doing any of the stuff that they're claiming. No one is literally killing people in the streets, as they're saying. No one's doing any of that. So that's all BS. So what I'm trying to say is, when you come from a place of emotion in that way, you get that nonsense. But then when you come in a place of emotion of, your religious, spiritual type of emotion to where you really, like, you think, okay, that you're doing God a service, you think that it's your God that is helped to do all of this and develop this country, and you think that inherently there is this God force, this behind everything. So you're actually, you're attributing all the good to that. You know, the funny thing about this is this. Obviously, any sane person can get things they want in life and believe a lot of things. You know, because like I said, certain things just work like they work. Like I said before, I've said this on other rants. It's just like the physical world. It's like if I don't do a certain level of exercise, I won't have a level of strength. Right? There's no magic to that. It's like if I eat, then I'm not going to be hungry. If I drink, I'm not going to be thirsty. Right? Everyone gets that. It's the same thing like what I mean about these people's nonsense beliefs. It doesn't mean that like their whole life is going to fall apart. It doesn't mean that the country would fall apart. Even if, let's say, we were like all Christians or something, or all satanic. My point is, all I'm trying to make is I'm just trying to put the blame in, call out the faults where there are big, huge faults. That's all I'm doing. I'm just trying to make a point. And I'm only ranting on this because this is something I've seen. This is something I've seen, time and time again. And I feel like what I would like to see, and that's why I'm speaking on this channel, because this channel tries to break down something so then there's a concept for you to get an idea of it, even though you probably already had an idea in the first place. I'm just trying to make like a designation. I'm trying to say, like, some of us, like myself out here, we are satanic, but we are not liberals. We are not hyper liberals. We are not hyper left leaning. We are not out of our minds calling ourselves 1,000 different pronouns and genders. We are not claiming that you have to fight for someone's whatever sexual preference you are and your crazed self-identity, whatever you're calling yourself. We don't have to fight for anything for you because you have everything. Like, no one is attacking you in the streets. No one is running you out of town. No one is doing anything to you of that nature because of your so-called preference and because of your so-called pronoun and because of the way that you got rainbow hair and whatever crazy thing you got going on. Or simply because you're a man that wears a pink tutu or whatever crazy stuff, whatever wild, outlandish persona that you have. No one is hanging you from trees because of that. And also, if you're like a black person like me, no one is shooting you in the streets and trying to kill you or oppress you in the streets or none of this crap. Stop. That's my whole point. So that's what I'm trying to say. But I also am not going to claim, because I'm not going to say that I'm some Christian either that doesn't understand or does not believe or does not understand, most likely, I guess that's what you say, understand, for the most part, the necessity of Satanism. You know what I mean? The necessity of black magic, the necessity of the left-hand path. See, because it's like I said, certain things work and they work for reasons. So you have to have balance. So like I said, you can't be crazed, emotional, irrational, half of a brain sissies on the left acting like you actually believe half of what you're saying has any validity, because you get what I'm saying? There has to be a balance. There has to be a balance, man. You can't be out of your mind. That's my whole point. You cannot be out of your mind. You have to understand why this so-called gender norm, this cis, you guys like to call it, you crazed people on the left. You guys are you're the crazed ones. It's like and I'm gonna say this is gonna make people mad, but this is how I look at it. If one side was the irrational crazed woman and then the left side was the more rational man, the right is the more rational man and the left is the crazed irrational woman. That you really think that like some liberal equality type of dream is even a thing. Like, you mean to tell me that someone that does more or has a better position is going to be in the same position as someone that has less? And that's never real. That's no. I'll put it to you like this, and I'm gonna cut this off. The reason why that can never be a real possibility, at least in this current time, while things are how they are, like we would literally have to be uh completely interworked and enthralled with like another intelligence, and I mean a completely non-human intelligence. It couldn't even be other humans. It would be a higher, very higher advanced intelligence. Is because us as we are now, myself included, are too selfish for that to be real. You have to realize that that's a fantasy. You have to realize that like I will strangle you to get your girl. I know it sounds crazy and that sounds harsh, but you get what I'm really saying. Like I will poison you to have your house, your money, and your wife. Now I'm pausing so you let that really sit deep into your soul. And listen to what I'm really saying. Let that just really sit in. I will strangle you. I will. I will push you off of that cliff to get all of your money, to get everything you have, to get the shoes you have on your feet right now, the wife that you think is yours, the house that you think. I will do what I need to do to have that. You know mainly why? First off, it's self-preservation, which is part of just being a human. Is an inherent instinct. Second, it's drive. And I'm talking a straight man's, masculine man's real sex drive. Not this stuff that you guys want to see in men, claiming that everything is toxic and that everything that's straight is toxic and everything that's real and normal is no. A man will do what he needs to do to get what he really wants in life. That's why all this is. That's why things are what they are. And you're saying, "Oh, well, that's the whole point." It's not. See, that's what I mean. That's not the whole point. The whole point is things are how they are because they worked how they are. It doesn't have to be cute. It doesn't have to be sweet. It doesn't have to be uh fair. It doesn't. It just is what it is. Because, like I said, that's how things work in this world, in this physical world. Like I said, if you don't eat, then you'll starve. If you don't work, then you'll starve. That's my point. That's what we're really dealing with. The irrational thinking, like I said, the sissy stuff is, oh well, it's such an injustice that it's so how you're a deplorable person. You're deplorable. You're so bad. You are such a bad like it doesn't it that none of that matters. Because like and I'm going to cut it here. It's like people have said 1,000 times, facts don't give a crap about your feelings. I think that's like really what I'm going to just like title this rant because that's what it really is. That's really what I'm trying to really hit home at the end of the day. It's facts don't care about your feelings. That's all it is. Facts do not care. You know? that's what I mean. And what I mean is like about having a drive is even though like I said, a person like myself, this is what I mean about the contrast, your emotions, like my emotions as well, just a person's people's emotions. I'm always going to think in my head that even if I was a horrible person, I'm always going to think that I still deserve more than that next person because it's me wanting that experience more than them. Or maybe I don't even want it more than them. It's just in my mind, the obstacle I see in front of me is them keeping me from that experience. So do you see how that works? That's why you don't see people selflessly going out to the street and stripping down to nothing and giving it to strangers and then taking money out of their pocket and giving it to everybody and then literally being a bum on the street then begging for clothes. That's why you don't see. And this is my whole point. This is what I mean. Why it's BS. This is not a real thing. None of that is real. You can just take that idea out of your mind. It's like totally take that out of your mind about this whole, and that's what I mean about the Christianity. This whole like, you know, it's like you're kidding yourself, man. You're not only kidding yourself, but what you're doing is you're trying to create an image of something and then operate in a world that you know is not that. You know that's the best way I could put it. So it's similar on the right, but it's just not as delusional. When you go to the left, it's beyond delusional. When you deal with people that claim that they are of this gender, that gender, and this preference and that preference, and you know, you're just not normal. It's usually, like I said, through the roof delusion. It's just delusional through the roof. 98% of the time. Like, what's this whole? I'm gonna say this. I want to close, but I have to say this. You know what I can't stand? I can't stand this Leah Thomas stuff. Leah Thomas is a friggin' white gorilla with Ultron shoulders that looks like he. I'm not. She called herself she. That's a he. Leah Thomas looks like she could friggin' military press the whole swim team. Your shoulders are as wide as the friggin' pool, and you are there's no woman anything about you. You are a not just a man, a tank. Stop. This is what I mean. This is stop. So you mean to tell me that you think it's fair that you compete against real women? Come on, bro. Come on now, man. Just come on, man. That's just silly. That's silly. That's like laughable. This is what I mean. Your psyche, like, number one, your ego has to be huge for you to even behave that way. Because, like, come on, man. If you're a man, you know you're a man. I don't care how much work you do, how much hormones you put in, what you want to call yourself. You're a freaking man, and you're a hard man to hide. Because, like I said, your shoulders, bro. You look like Ultron, Age of Ultron, Gundam shoulders. You know, like you look crazy. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about? You're insane. If you had like I said, if you weren't so out of control with your ego, your emotions, all what's going on, your crazed brain, you would compete against men. You compete against other men. Like what was his name, Michael Phelps or whatever, the swim. You'd compete against dudes like that, against swimmer dudes, against big strong dudes like yourself. But instead, you want to compete against women. What? That's that's just stupid. That's like no one can no one can see that that's retarded, like completely retarded in such a huge way. That's just wrong, man. That's like an adult going to a kids dodgeball game and just destroying children. Like it's like, come on. So that's my point. That's my whole point. So then you literally get crazed people who only have a platform because of twisted people who have money, funds, backing, and have a really twisted agenda. Because your agenda has to be. But like I said again, it's all about, like I said before. It's all about the position, the power, and it's going to work how it's going to work. So yes, us normal people just get crapped on. Like I get crapped on. I get crapped on all day, nonstop. Because, like I said, because of my way of thinking, my beliefs, who I am, how I am, it's just the way it is. So, like I said, it just so happens that me being a at 35 now, 35-year-old man born in 1988, right? Black, straight man, just normal. Not normal, but like normal. I am getting crapped on nonstop, nonstop crapped on, all over for all the wrong reasons too. That's the crazy thing. for the wrong reasons, you know, for the wrong reasons, man. So that's the way it is. Like I said, the facts don't care about your feelings. The facts does not care that because you may look in the mirror and think, oh well, I see uh, a woman competitor, and it's like, no, the truth is you are a crazed uh gorilla shouldered man. Like a straight up beast of a freaking man, if we gotta be honest. And then you are trying to say you're a woman, and then you're gonna compete against women, and then people are gonna allow it for as long as they're allowed. Maybe it's crap will hit the fan. This will stop, but they let this go on for so long. This is just ridiculous, man. And then you have some of you, like I said, you man women. You're probably gonna call this. Somebody's probably gonna, or even the algorithm is probably gonna catch hate speech on this. They're gonna say this is hate speech, but that's what it is. Like you man, because that's what you are, you man women. Calling yourself a dang woman, you're not a woman. Not even close. You're not even trying. Like you're not even convincing. That's the funny thing. You're not even convincing at all. So I don't know what you guys are talking about, but you know, facts don't care about your feelings. They don't care what you feel or what you're thinking. It is what it is. So this is Steve's Art and Fun channel. This rant wasn't like really profane. There wasn't cursing in this rant. I think this rant can go in the kid friendly section. It wasn't hate speech, anything I said. So let me ask, and this is another question I have to say before I cut this off. If you people are so crazed that like this whole you can't come to a conclusion what a woman is, and you know darn well what a woman is, that's like saying can we not come to the conclusion what a squirrel is? You know what a squirrel is. you know what a squirrel is, man. You know what a freaking squirrel is, man. That's like me saying I don't know what a solo cup is. I don't know what a screwdriver or a spatula is. It's like what that's you're playing a game. You are playing like that, and that's a game that adults don't play. We don't play those type of games. That's like something your child does. And you know what I'm about to say too. You know what's about to happen. You're about to get smacked across the face for even pretending like you. Oh, so it's like so you don't know. You're trying to tell me you don't know what's going on. Pa! It's like you don't. So let's do this again. So are you going to talk or what? So you mean to tell me you don't know what this is, huh? Huh? Exactly. That's my whole point. You know, like I said, crapped on. So people are allowed to actually play these type of games. Like you don't know what a woman is. So then how come I can't? If you don't know what a woman is, how come I can't just make something up then? I can't say you're a man woman. So because to me you're a man woman. If you're going around like that calling yourself a woman. So at that point, I could call you because you don't. You said you don't know what a woman is, or you. It's not so easy to define. It's like it's. I'm beating a dead horse at this point. So that's the rant. This is Steve's Art and Fun channel. Like, comment, and sub. Hit the bell icon, and have a nice day.